Hello everyone, welcome to Introduction to Economics Part 1 by Kotaki Robert. The course outline for this course is what is economics, that is in the first lesson today. Why do we study economics will be the next lesson. The third lesson will be about the basic principles of economics. The scale of preferences will follow, and the last lesson in this part will be about the production possibility frontier. So this is our first lesson, so we'll dive into what is economics. Here we shall cover the definition of economics. We talk about economic theories and economic laws. So in this world, we have limited resources. When we talk about resources, we mean those things that are used to produce commodities, things like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. These things are limited, so meaning they are not enough. Let me give you an example. Let us say you are hungry. So if you are hungry, means you need to eat something. So if you are hungry, you need food. But where is the food going to come from? So you need someone to produce that food for you. So that person is going to use maybe his piece of land, put in labor and put in capital and entrepreneurship, and be able to produce that food for you. So the food is the commodity. And these things are what we are calling resources. So when the resources are used to produce commodities, someone is able to consume the commodities and is able to satisfy his or her human wants. So the factors of production or the resources are labor, capital, land, entrepreneurship, and land. So we have land shortages, you know that very well. We have entrepreneurship shortages, we have capital shortages, and capital we mean tractors, machines, money, buildings, and so on. And labor we mean these ones, the laborers, there are shortages in various sectors. So because we have limited factors of production or limited resources, we need to make wise decisions so that we can produce commodities. Now, commodities, we talk about goods and services. We have goods are the tangible commodities, while the services are the intangible commodities. So, economics studies how people are able to allocate the limited land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, how you're able to allocate those so that you can be able to produce the goods and services. Because you need to use labor, capital, entrepreneurship, and land to be able to produce the goods and services. But the land, the labor, the entrepreneurship, and the other are limited in supply. So you need to make a wise decision, and that's why we study economics. So economics is a subject which deals with the study of the ways through which people use to allocate the limited resources to produce goods and services so as to satisfy the human wants. So the resources, like I said, are those things used in the production of goods and services. So they are in shortage or they are limited in supply. That's why economics comes in to help us understand how we can make better decisions. So when we are in this studying economics, we are going to be generally studying how things are made, how things are bought, how things are sold, and how they are used. We are going to learn how to make decisions in this world where resources are limited. And then if you are well informed, then at the end of your study, you'll be able to spend your money wisely. You'll also be able to spend what you have in the best way possible. So economics as a subject is based on economic laws and economic theories. So we have various economic laws and various economic theories. So we are going to start with economic laws. Economic laws are scientific statements which seek to establish cause and effect relationship among economic variables. What do I mean? They show the cause and effect relationship. They show what variable causes and what variable is affected in a particular situation. So let us look at the economic laws for instance, the law of demand. So if you look at this is a scenario where we have let's say the price of rice. The price of rice is 1,000 shillings. If this price were to increase from 1,000 to 2,000, you find that the quantity of demand will reduce from 50 to 30 kilograms. And this is where we get the law of demand. You can see that the higher the price, which is this, the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. So this increase in the price caused this effect in the quantity demanded. That's why we said there is a cause-effect relationship between this variable, which is price, and the other variable, which is the quantity demanded. Or a decrease in price like this from 1,000 to 500 will result into an increase in the quantity demanded from 50 kilograms to 90 kilograms. So this cause the decrease in the price will lead to an increase in the quantity demanded. So this is the law we're talking about. The law is just showing or establishing that an increase in price will cause a decrease in the quantity demanded. So the law of demand states that the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded, and the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. Other factors remaining constant. So that's one of the big laws in economics. Now, because this law does not give us a lot of information, we find it very hard to understand just by merely looking at this law. So that's why we jump into economic theories. That's why economists came up with economic theories. So to explain the law of demand, they had to come up with the price theory. So that's why you will study the price theory in detail so that you can understand what the law of demand means, what the law of supply means, and so you can appreciate the economics in it. So this is the economic theories are scientific statements which are advanced by economists. Like I said, they try to explain how economic variables operate in allocating resources. So you find that economic theories are more detailed than the economic laws. So a theory will provide all the information and proof necessary for you to understand what it is all about. So there are two methods which are used to derive theories and laws. We have the inductive method and the deductive method. From inductive method, you have the word deduce, as you can see I've written there. So from the inductive, we have deduce. Induce means from inductive. Induce means you are coming from the beginning to the end. That means you are carrying out an experiment, collecting and organizing economic facts. So conclusions are made after carrying out experiments. You start from the beginning, you carry out an experiment, and then you end up with facts. While the deductive is the other way around. You start the process of reasoning from certain laws, principles, or conclusions, which are assumed to be true. So you start from the conclusion and then you go to the beginning. So you reason from certain principles. We base on something, then we reason from there. So let me explain what this means. So in the inductive method, you find that we carry out experiments. So we start from the introduction. And we end up to the conclusion. That is in the inductive method of deducing or coming up with theories. So in the inductive method, we start from introduction to the. Let me give you an example of how this works. Let us say you go to the shop, one of the shops, and you sit there and start observing. You realize that a customer comes in when the price of 1 kilogram of beans, and the price of beans is at 3,000 shillings. You find that the customer is buying 10 kilograms. So when the price is 10,000 shillings, is 30,000 shillings, the customer is buying 10 kilograms. If this price was to move from 30,000 and increase to 4,000 shillings, you find that the customer comes in and buys 6 kilograms of beans. So what have you seen? You have seen that when the price is low, the customer buys a lot of beans. So the price is low, the customer buys a lot of things. When the price is high, the customer is buying less of that commodity. So this means that the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded, and the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. And this is what we call the law of demand. Then we have the deductive method, where we come up with deductive method. That is where we come up with theories based on conclusions, certain principles and laws which are assumed to be true. In this case, you can just assume, let us say, you can assume if a student fails economics, the teacher is not good. So you have assumed. So you find that in the theories which come from the deductive method, there are so many assumptions. In the Malthusian theory, you'll have assumptions. You'll have assumptions in all the theories we shall look about. So examples of theories include the Malthusian theory, the Keynesian theory, the other theories. So like we have price theory, we have the Keynesian theory, we have the Malthusian theory, we have big push theory. They will have so many assumptions in them because we are coming from the point of conclusion. We are basing on certain facts to deduce, or we are basing on certain conclusion to deduce the theory. While laws, we have law of demand and the law of supply and others. But these are the biggest laws we have in economics. So that is what we have about that. So far in this lesson, we have learned that economics studies how scarce resources are used to produce commodities that satisfy human wants. We have learned that we have scarce resources, and these scarce resources need to be allocated wisely. So economics helps us study how we can wisely allocate these scarce resources in order to satisfy human wants. And you know that we have so many human wants and we have limited resources. And we said resources include capital, resources include land, labor, and entrepreneurship. And I said another name for resources is factors of production or factor inputs. Then we talked about economic laws as statements that show a cause and effect relationship. We showed how there is, these are statements that show what is causing what and what is being affected. And then economic theories explain how economic variables operate to allocate resources. You will look at this later on in the courses and you will see them in details because we shall be talking about economic laws and economic theories. Like I said, our economics is based on these economic laws and economic theories. And then we looked at the inductive method where experiments are done to come up with economic facts. In the inductive method, you remember the experiment we did to come up with the law of demand. And then the deductive method, that's where theories are based on existing laws, principles, and conclusion. So that is the end of our lesson. The next lesson will be studying about why we study economics. The third lesson will be basic principles of economics, and then we shall look at scale of preference and end with production possibility frontier, and that will be for part 1. So thank you for watching this lesson. You can subscribe to Bosch Academy on YouTube. You can like and follow our page on Bosch Academy on Facebook, and you can visit our website, which is www.boschacademy.com. So thank you for watching.